The House will come to order. The invocation today will be given by the Honorable Brenda Carter, State Representative from the 53rd District. Will members, staff, and guests in the gallery please rise? Representative.
My prayer today is in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King. This is his prayer. Thou eternal God, out of whose absolute power and infinite intelligence the whole universe has come into being, we humbly confess that we have not loved thee with our hearts, souls, and minds, and we have not loved our neighbors as Christ loved us. We have too often lived by our own selfish impulses rather than by the life of sacrificial love as revealed by Christ. We have given in order to receive. We love our friends and hate our neighbors. We go into the first mile but dare to go the second. We forgive but dare not to forget. And so, we look within ourselves. We are confronted with the appalling fact that the history of our lives is the history of an eternal revolt against you. But thou, O God, have mercy on us. Forgive us for what we could have been but failed to be. Give us the intelligence to know your will. Give us the courage to do your will. Give us the devotion to love your will. O God, the creator and preserver of all mankind, in whom to dwell is to find peace and security, towards whom to turn is to find life and life eternal. We humbly beseech thee for all sorts of conditions of man, that thou would be pleased to make thy way known unto them. Thy saving health upon all nations. We pray for thy holy church universal, that they may be guided and governed by thy spirit, that all profess and call themselves Christians may be led into the way of truth and hold the faith in unity of spirit and in bond of peace and in righteousness of life. Finally, we commend to thy fatherly goodness all those who are in any way afflicted or distressed in mind or body. Give them patience under the suffering and power of endurance. This we ask in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you.
The clerk will open the board for the purpose of taking attendance. The board is now open. Members may check in at their desk.
WZMQ Marquette TV 19, and channels 9 and 10 Cadillac have permission to videotape during today's session.
Members, please check in at your desk. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to excuse all absent members.
So ordered. The clerk will close the board, tally and display, and announce today's attendance.
Mr. Speaker, a quorum of the House is present. There are no members absent with prior excuse.
Will members, staff, and guests in the gallery please rise and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the House proceed to take up orders of motions and resolutions and take up House Resolution 173.
Without objection, so ordered. Members, we have a memorial resolution. Please take your seats. Please take your seats. The clerk will read.
The Speaker, on behalf of the entire membership of the House of Representatives, offers House Resolution number 173, a resolution of tribute for Clark E. Bisbee, former member of the Michigan House of Representatives. Whereas it is with great sadness that the members of this legislative body learned about the passing of Clark Bisbee. He'll be remembered as a dedicated public servant and leader who loyally served his constituents in the greater Jackson area in the 64th District. Whereas Clark Bisbee was born in Jackson to Leland S. Bisbee, Jr. and Margaret Clark Bisbee. After receiving his bachelor's degree in business from Albion College, he began a storied career with Citibank and Trust, spent 10 years managing the bank's operations in mid-Michigan. In 1978, Mr. Bisbee founded Bisbee Infrared Services, which provided the mid-Michigan region with thermographic imaging services for decades. Always the family man, Mr. Bisbee then stepped up to lead the Lee Bisbee Travel Service Incorporated, the travel agency founded by his father. Under his leadership, the family business became the premier travel agency in Michigan. Lee Bisbee Travel Service Incorporated had over 40 employees and 5 offices across the state at its peak, and served the community for over 50 years before closing its doors in 2009. While at the helm of Lee Bisbee Travel Service Incorporated, Mr. Bisbee also served as the president of the American Society of Travel Agents. Whereas Clark Bisbee was a pillar of his community, his family business sponsored local Little League teams for decades, while he served as a member of the Greater Jackson Chamber of Commerce, the YMCA Expansion Committee, Queens Parish Administrative Council, Father Coyle Society, Lutheran School PTO, Jackson Rotary, and countless other organizations. Mr. Bisbee's attitude of genuine friendship and positivity towards everybody served him well in his various positions throughout the community. Whereas Clark Bisbee was first elected to the Michigan House of Representatives in 1998 and served until 2004. During his tenure, he chaired the Joint Select Committee on Business Competitiveness, the Commerce Committee, and the Training and Safety Committee, was the vice chair for the Insurance and Financial Services Committee for 2 terms, and was a member of the Committees on Economic Development, Energy and Technology, Great Lakes and Tourism, Employment Relations, Insurance, and Regulatory Reform. While in office, Mr. Bisbee was effective representative who worked across the aisle with now United States Senator Gary Peters to spearhead an amendment to Michigan's Constitution to require a majority of the members of Michigan's House of Representatives and Senate to approve a salary increase for the following term. Whereas Clark Bisbee is served by his wife, Kathleen Katie Miller Bisbee, of over 39 years, 4 children, Casey, Megan, Leland IV, and Peter, 7 grandchildren, and his siblings, Leland III, Margaret, and Constance. His parents and sister Patrice preceded him in death. His family described him as a devoted and adoring husband, father, grandfather, brother, and uncle, whose calmness and relentless positivity endeared him to anyone with whom he crossed paths. Described by those who worked close to him as a model for citizen legislators. Mr. Bisbee always prioritized his family and was home with his family every night. He'll be greatly missed and fondly remembered. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives that we offer this tribute to Clark E. Bisbee, former member of the Michigan House of Representatives, And be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be transmitted to the family of Clark Bisbee as a sign of our deepest condolences.
The Speaker recognizes Representative Schmaltz.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in support of House Resolution 173, a resolution of tribute for Clark E. Bisbee, a former member of the Michigan House of Representatives. It is with great sadness we have learned that the passing of Clark Bisbee. Clark was elected to the Michigan House of Representatives in 1998 and served until 2004. And he'll be remembered as a dedicated and selfless public servant who represented the constituents of the 64th District with honor and respect. Clark is survived by his wife, Katie, who is here with me today, and his 4 children, Casey, Megan, Leland, and Peter, along with his 3 siblings and 7 grandchildren. Clark was a true family man and devoted husband, father, and grandfather. Clark was known to always prioritize being home with his family every night, as was stated, regardless of his hectic schedules that are so common in the legislature. I knew Clark personally, and he was a great friend, a mentor, and leader. He was quick to offer advice and encouragement and was always there for those who needed him. Clark really enjoyed serving here in the legislature, and he always cared about helping people the most. That was what he was here for. The loss of Clark Bisbee is a tremendous one. He will be missed greatly and remembered fondly by those who have been fortunate enough to know him. Clark has left behind a legacy of selfless service, commitment, and positivity, and has no doubt made a positive impact on the lives of many residents of our state. I encourage my colleagues to support this resolution.
All members in favor of the memorial resolution, please rise. The resolution is adopted. The Speaker recognizes Representative Schmaltz.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like my colleagues to join me in welcoming Katie Bisbee, who is sitting here with me today, as well as her sister, Lynn Miller, who is joining up in the gallery. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for joining us. Members, please join me in welcoming the family of Honorable Representative Bisbee. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Continuing our continuing our motions and resolutions, I move to take up House Resolution 174.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
The Speaker, on behalf of the entire membership of the House of Representatives, offers House Resolution number 174, a resolution of tribute offered as a memorial for Thomas C. Matthew, former member of the House of Representatives. Whereas it was with great sorrow that the members of the House of Representatives learned about the passing of Thomas Matthew, he will be remembered as a dedicated public servant by his constituents in the Grand Rapids area and the people of the state of Michigan. And whereas Thomas Matthew was first elected to the House of Representatives in 1974, for the next 24 years he would go on to serve his constituents with distinction, authoring laws such as the Matthew Gast Home Improvement Act, the act establishing a long-term care ombudsman, and the Michigan Civilian Conservation Corps Act. During his service, he was recognized as Legislator of the Year by a constellation of organizations, such as the Michigan United Conservation Clubs, the American Association of University Professors, the Michigan Federation of Private Child and Family Agencies. He was especially known for his efforts on behalf of senior citizens. And whereas Thomas Matthew also distinguished himself with his service in House leadership. He served as Majority Whip in the 78th Legislature and Assistant Majority Floor Leader in the 79th, 80, 81st, and 82nd Legislatures. He also chaired the Judiciary Committee in the 87th Legislature and the Appropriations Committee for a time in the 89th Legislature. And whereas after leaving the legislature, he spent 7 years as director of the Michigan Association of Community Action Agencies before beginning a well-earned retirement in 2005. And whereas upon Thomas Matthews' passing, we offer our condolences to his loved ones. Thomas Matthews' contributions to this chamber and the state of Michigan will be remembered. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives that we offer this expression of our highest tribute to honor the memory of Thomas Matthew, a member of the House of Representatives from 1975 to 1998. And be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be transmitted to the Matthew family as evidence of our lasting esteem for his memory.
The Speaker recognizes Representative Glanville.
I'd like to ask my colleagues from Grand Rapids to join me. Come up too. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in support of the memorial resolution in honor of a remarkable individual, one of my predecessors, former state representative Thomas Matthew. He was a man of heartfelt dedication, incredible contributions, and exceptional moral character, and we are a better state for his service. His life began on December 2nd, 1936 in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, though he spent most of his life in the Grand Rapids area. He was not only a dedicated public servant, but a loving husband to Luann and devoted father to their 4 children, Susan, Thomas Jr., Jeff, and Lori. His career path was marked by many remarkable achievements, many of which we've already heard. He worked at Lytel Iron Works and served as the editor of the Grand Valley Labor News, earning recognition as Labor's Man of the Year in 1968. He furthered his commitment to the community by becoming the Director of Community Development for the Kent County Community Action Program, overseeing all of the neighborhood centers in Kent County. In 1974, Thomas embarked on a new chapter in his life, running for a seat in the Michigan House of Representatives. His dedication and determination led him to a successful 24-year career in this body. He authored and championed a multitude of bills, many of which remain law to this day. Some of these include the Matthew Guest Home Improvement Act, the Home Heating Assistance Act, the Michigan Civilian Conservation Corps Act, and the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Act. He was known as a staunch advocate for senior citizens and institutions of higher learning. Former State Rep Matthews' service extended to House leadership positions, where he served as Majority Whip in the 78th Legislature, Assistant Majority Floor Leader in the 79th through the 82nd Legislatures. He chaired the Judiciary Committee in the 87th Legislature and played a vital role on the Appropriations Committee during the 89th Legislature. After leaving the House, Thomas continued his service as director of the Michigan Association of Community Action Agencies, a role he fulfilled until his retirement in 2005. As we gather here today, we remember and celebrate Thomas Matthews' legacy of selfless service, tireless dedication, and unwavering love for his family and community. His contributions have left an indelible mark on the state of Michigan, and he will be remembered as a dedicated public servant who made a significant difference in the lives of countless individuals. On behalf of myself and my colleagues from the Grand Rapids delegation, we offer this resolution to honor the memory of Thomas Matthew, a distinguished member of this esteemed institution from 1975 to 1998. Our condolences go out to his loved ones, and we hope that this resolution serves as a lasting testament to the high esteem in which we hold his memory. I urge a yes vote in favor of this resolution. Thank you.
All members in favor of the memorial resolution, please rise. The resolution is adopted. The Speaker recognizes Representative Glanville.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to welcome Thomas Matthews' grandson, Kevin, who's here on the floor with me today to receive the resolution and commemorative flag for the family. And also in the South Gallery are members of the family joining us, his son Thomas and wife Lori, ex-wife Luann, Shirley, his significant other, and again, Kevin, his grandson.
Well, thank you for joining us. Members, please join us in welcoming the family of the Honorable Representative Matthew to the House. The Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Continuing the order of motions and resolutions, I move to take up House Resolution 175.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
The Speaker, on behalf of the entire membership of the House of Representatives, offers House Resolution number 175, a resolution of tribute offered as memorial for John Granat, former member of the House of Representatives. Whereas it is with great sorrow that members of this House of Representatives learned about the passing of John Granat. He will be remembered as a dedicated public servant who was committed to his constituents in Misaki, Osceola, Roscommon, and Wexford counties, and the people of the state of Michigan. Whereas John Granat was born in McCain, Michigan, to Herman and Minnie Granat. Mr. Granat was an active member of his community, serving as a member of the McBain Chamber of Commerce, the McBain Downtown Development Authority, the McBain Tax Increment Finance Authority, and numerous other organizations, in addition to his dedication to his church. Whereas John Granat was first elected to the House of Representatives in 1991, when he successfully sought election to Michigan's 18th district. Following his first term, he went on to serve Michigan's 102nd district for 3 terms in the House of Representatives, where he served his constituents dutifully until his retirement in 1999. As a lifelong Michigander and farmer at heart, Mr. Granat faithfully served on the committees of Agriculture and Forestry, Economic Development, State Affairs, and Tax Policy. He also chaired the Senior Citizens Committee and was Majority and Minority Vice Chair for the Commerce Committee. He authored numerous pieces of legislation and worked tirelessly to advocate for Michiganders. Whereas John Granat is survived by his wife and best friend Karen of 62 years, 4 children, Brad, Kenda, Randy, and Greg, sister Karen, 6 in-laws, 5 grandchildren, 8 grandchildren who he loved dearly. His parents, parents-in-law, 4 siblings, 1 brother-in-law, and 1 grandson preceded him in death. Mr. Granat is described as a kind, generous, and caring man who is an optimist by nature and had a passion for helping others. His contributions to the state of Michigan will be remembered and felt for years to come. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives that we offer this expression of our highest tribute to honor the memory of John Granat, a member of the House of Representatives from 1991 to 1998, and be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be transmitted to the Granat family as evidence of our lasting esteem for his memory.
The Speaker recognizes Representative Borton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, we have the privilege to honor the life and legacy of former State Representative John Granat, who served in the Michigan Legislature from 1991 through 1999 and is what now known as the 105th District. Born in September 15th of 1939, he lived a long and full life. He married his best friend Karen, who is with me today, and together they had 4 children and enjoyed 62 years of marriage. He loved spending time with his family, including grandchildren and great-grandchildren. John was well loved by many who sought out ways, and he often sought out ways to help others. Well known for his cheerfulness and friendliness, others appreciated his kind and caring demeanor. His friends knew how much he loved to invest in their lives, for truly he counted others as more significant than himself. Folks remember his winning smile, which never failed to brighten their day. His positivity was contagious. A devout Christian, his faith was very important to him. He was involved in his church and stayed true to his faith and convictions. In all things, he desired to put God first and love his Savior, trusting the Lord to direct his paths. Farming was always important to John. Up until the very end, you could find him working the family dairy farm. His lifelong passion was always for agriculture, and he represented the agriculture community in various capacities over the years, including serving on the House Agriculture Committee during his tenure here in the legislature. He was also very active in his community and was named Outstanding Citizen of the Year by Farm Bureau. His life was truly a life well lived, and he will forever be remembered and loved. Michigan has lost a dedicated public servant. We offer our condolences to his family and friends and know that he is greatly missed. I encourage a yes vote on this resolution.
All members in favor of the memorial resolution, please rise. The resolution is adopted. The Speaker recognizes Representative Borton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I'm honored to be able to present the State of Michigan flag and a framed resolution to the member of John Granat's family. And they are with me here today, or a few members are with me today. His wife Karen is with me here today, and his son Brad is in the gallery along with his wife Karen. His wife Lori.
Well, thank you for joining us. Members, please join me in welcoming the family of the Honorable Representative. The House will stand at ease.
Speaker recognizes Caucus Chair O'Neill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. To my Democratic colleagues, caucus call in the caucus room. Democratic colleagues, caucus call in the caucus room.
Speaker recognizes Caucus Chair Borton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We have a Republican caucus in the Republican caucus room. So attention, Republican members. We caucus now in the Republican caucus room.
The House will come to order. House proceed to announcements by the Clerk of Printing and Enrollment.
Clerk announced that the following bills have been reproduced and made available electronically on Tuesday, January 16th. House Bills 5393 through 5398.
Reports of standing committees.
Committee on Judiciary, Representative Breen, Chair, recommends the referral of House Bill 4225 to the Committee on Education.
The bill is referred to the Committee on Education.
Committee on Judiciary, Representative Breen, Chair, recommends the referral of House Bill 4793 to the Committee on Government Operations.
Bill is referred to the Committee on Government Operations.
Committee on Judiciary, Representative Breen, Chair, recommends the referral of House Bill 5271 to the Committee on Criminal Justice.
Bill is referred to the Committee on Criminal Justice.
Committee on Judiciary, Representative Breen, Chair, recommends the referral of House Bill 5316 to the Committee on Government Operations.
Bill is referred to the Committee on Government Operations.
Committee on Judiciary, Representative Breen, Chair, recommends the referral of House Bill 5317 to the Committee on Government Operations.
Bill is referred to the Committee on Government Operations.
Committee on Judiciary, Representative Breen, Chair, recommends the referral of House Bill 5318 to the Committee on Government Operations.
Bill is referred to the Committee on Government Operations.
Committee on Judiciary, Representative Breen, Chair, recommends the referral of House Bill 5319 to the Committee on Government Operations.
Bill is referred to the Committee on Government Operations. Notices.
From Speaker of the House Joe Tate to the Clerk of the House, dear Mr. Clerk, I am making the following changes to committees for the 102nd Legislature. Representative Hoskins will be added to the Committee on Insurance and Financial Services. The Committee on Insurance and Financial Services will meet Thursday, January 18th at 9 a.m., room 521 of the House Office Building. A revised agenda for the Committee on Health Policy, scheduled to meet Thursday, January 18th, has been issued. The Committee on Natural Resources, Environment, Tourism, and Outdoor Recreation will meet Thursday, January 18th at 10:30 a.m., room 327 of the House Office Building.
Messages from the Governor.
From Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Executive Order number 2024-2 for executive reorganization of the Departments of Civil Rights, Labor and Economic Opportunity, Licensing and Regulatory Affairs, Lifelong Education Advancement, and Potential in Workers' Disability Compensation Appeals Commission.
Introduction of bills.
Representative Martin offers House Bill 5399, a bill to amend the Income Tax Act of 1967. People of the State of Michigan enact.
Bills considered read for a first time by its title, referred to the Committee on Government Operations. The House will stand at ease.
Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Move to order of second reading of bills and take up House Bill 4863.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar item number 89, House Bill 4863, introduced by Representative Hadsma. A bill to amend the Powers of Appointment Act of 1967. People of the State of Michigan enact.
The bill be considered read for a second time by its title. Are there amendments? There being no amendments, the question for the House is advancing the bill to the order of third reading. Hearing no objection, the bill is on third reading. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Taking order of second reading of bills, we'll take up House Bill 4864.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar item number 90, House Bill 4864, introduced by Representative Wozniak. A bill to amend the Uniform Statutory Rule Against Perpetuities. People of the State of Michigan enact.
The bill will be considered read for a second time by its title. Are there amendments? There being no amendments, the question for the House is advancing the bill to the order of third reading. Hearing no objection, the bill is on third reading. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Continuing order of second reading of bills, we'll take up House Bill 4845.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar item number 71, House Bill 4845, introduced by Representative Bruck. A bill to amend the Michigan Memorial Highway Act. People of the State of Michigan enact.
Without objection, the bill will be considered read for a third time by its title. Are there amendments? There are no amendments. Colleagues, we have a member wishing to address the body. Please quiet down and give him your attention. The bill will be considered read for a second time by its title. Are there amendments? There being no amendments, the question before the House is advancing the bill to the order of third reading. Hearing no objection, the bill is on third reading. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Madam Speaker, move to the order of third reading of bills and take up count item number 71, House Bill 4845, and place it on its immediate passage.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar item number 71, House Bill 4845, introduced by Representative Bruck. A bill to amend the Michigan Memorial Highway Act. People of the State of Michigan enact.
Without objection, the bill will be considered read for a third time by its title. Are there amendments? There are no amendments. Speaker recognizes Representative Bruck.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. On August 31st of 2020, our governor ordered all the flags in Michigan, U.S. and state flags, be flown, raised to top mast and lowered to half mast in honor of Monroe Charter Township Fire Department Captain Joseph Lidl. He passed away August 24th of 2020. In a statement released by Governor Whitmer, she said, "Our state mourns the loss of Captain Joe Lidl, who dedicated his life to the type of service and duty that we look for in our great public servants." Who was Joseph Lidl, and what did Captain Joseph Michael Lidl do? Today, Madam Speaker, I rise to give honor to the life and service of Joe Lidl. Joseph Lidl was a volunteer fireman, firefighter for Monroe Charter Township Fire Department. Joe Lidl, as a young boy, he joined the Young Firefighters Explorers, and he had one desire in life, and that was to become a firefighter. When he turned 18, he joined the force. He served for over 28 years at this volunteer fire department in Monroe. The Charter Township lies just south of the city of Monroe. Joseph Lidl was loved by all. He was respected by all. He rose in the ranks from just a firefighter to a lieutenant, and then in 2019 to the rank of captain. Joseph Lidl, right after 9/11 occurred, got 7 of his fellow firefighters to go to New York to assist in the recovery efforts at the Ground Zero World Trade Towers. Joseph Lidl is said went on over 30% of the calls. Now, there are two types of fire departments in Michigan, or I should say around the country. There's the full-time, professional, paid fire departments and volunteer fire departments that are paid for that call. So when they go on call, Madam Speaker, they get a small stipend. There's many similarities. Firefighters are service-oriented. They want to help and save, and they put their life on the line each and every day. There's many similarities between the full-time fire departments and the volunteer fire departments, but there are many differences as well. One being pay, one being time off. Full-time fire departments, you work a 48-hour shift, 48 hours off, or some degree to that. But in a volunteer fire department, you're on call 24/7. You get called and you go to the fire or you go to the emergency call, because if you don't, they are going to have to wait on someone else to come. Last year, the Monroe Charter Township Fire Department did over 2,800 calls. That's a lot of calls. They have 30 members in that department, all volunteers. That's a lot of calls per day. In the 28 years that Joe Lidl served on that department, it's estimated that that fire department did over 40,000 calls. After speaking to past Chief Larry Merkel, who was the chief for 38 years in the township, he said that almost every call Joe was there. He was well over the 30% call ratio. That means he showed up for over 30% of the calls. That means Joe Lidl himself in 28 years of service did well over 13,000 calls. He was service-minded. I spoke to his father yesterday, James Lidl. He retired after 30 years from the full-time fire department in the city of Monroe. He worked with his son on many occasions because there's a mutual aid agreement between the two. They're right next to each other. I spoke to him, and I tried to get him to come today, but he said it's too soon, which I understand. He lost his son and a fellow firefighter. But I asked him for some notes. What would you like me to say about your son when I speak on the House floor? How can I honor your son? He said one thing Joe always wanted to do was follow my footsteps. His only goal in life was to follow my footsteps and become a firefighter. Everyone knew him. Everyone loved him. Everyone had good to say about him. I would love to live my life and have that said. He said when we went on calls, people looked for Joe Lidl. And they asked the question, what do you need? He said whether it was the firefighters from the city of Monroe or the volunteers from the Charter Township or another mutual aid, he said everyone knew when Joe was on the job, they were in good hands. And as his voice broke, he said, it seems like just yesterday. However, it's been 3 years. I can't believe he's gone. But we ended on a happy note. He was telling me stories about Joe and what Joe would do. And he said Joe, at one call, he said this is a comical one. He said everyone was looking for Joe, and they found Joe. They saw Joe kneeling on the grass off to the side from a residential fire that they had went to. And Joe was leaning on the grass, and they went up to Joe, and here he was with a puppy, giving the puppy oxygen because the puppy had come out of the house. And his father said that was Joe to a T. He said Joe loved and served humanity, and he also loved all God's creatures. He said Joe was just an incredible person. So today I ask my fellow colleagues to consider voting on 4845, renaming a portion of South Dixie after Captain Joe M. Lidl. And this portion, mile-long stretch of M125, otherwise known as South Dixie, goes from Dunbar south to Albin Road. And it goes in front of the fire station. The Monroe Charter Township Fire Department is located in that stretch of road where Joe served for 28 years. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The question before the House is the passage of the bill. Speaker recognizes Representative Bruck.
Madam Speaker, I would like to recognize this morning Lieutenant Scott McCarty and Chief Mark Cherney, as well as Lieutenant McCarty's sons, Brian and Harrison. They both serve and have served, they both served with Captain Lidl, and they are here today in the upper gallery.
Colleagues, please join me in welcoming the guests of Representative Bruck and thanking them for their service. The question before the House is the passage of the bill. A record roll call vote is required. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, nay. The clerk will open the board. Speaker recognizes Minority Floor Leader Posthumus.
Excuse Representatives Maddock and St. Germain.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will close the board, tally, display, and announce the vote.
Madam Speaker, on the question of final passage of House Bill 4845, there are 104 aye votes and 0 nay votes.
Majority of the members elected and serving having voted therefore, the bill is passed. Speaker recognizes Representative Bruck. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Move for immediate effect.
Majority Floor Leader moves for immediate effect. All those in favor will rise. Immediate effect is ordered. Speaker recognizes Representative Bruck.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to open the bill for co-sponsorship.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will open the board. The clerk will close the board, tally and display the co-sponsorships. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Madam Speaker, I move the House move to the order message from the Senate and reading the message regarding Senate Bill 227.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
To the Speaker of the House of Representatives, dear sir, I herewith return to the House Senate Bill 227 in accordance with request.
Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to suspend Rule 63 so the vote by which Senate Bill 227 passed the House may be reconsidered at this time.
Majority Floor Leader moves to suspend Rule 63. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, nay. The rules are suspended. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to reconsider the vote by which Senate Bill 227 has passed.
The question is the reconsideration of the vote by which Senate Bill 227 passed. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, nay. The bill is reconsidered. Are there amendments? There are amendments. The clerk will read.
Representative Rogers offers a floor substitute H1 identified as amendment number 1.
On third reading, amendments require support. Is there support? There is support. The question for the House is adopting the amendment. The clerk will open the board. The amendment is adopted. Are there further amendments? There being no further amendments, the question for the House is the passage of the bill. Record roll call vote is required. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, nay. The clerk will open the board. The clerk will close the board. Representative Kuhn votes nay. Representative Steele votes Nay. Representative Paquette votes nay. The clerk will tally, display, and announce the vote.
Madam Speaker, on the question of final passage of Senate Bill 227, there are 52 aye votes and 52 nay votes.
Majority of the members elected and serving not having voted therefore, the bill does not pass. Speaker recognizes Representative Green.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to have everybody's attention because our representative from the 59th District, Representative Wozniak, is 77 today.
Happy birthday, Representative. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to proceed to order motions and resolutions and take up House Resolution 172.
Without objection, so ordered, the clerk will read.
House Resolution number 172, introduced by Representative Whitworth. A resolution declared January 28th through February 3rd, 2024 as Wetland Conservation Week in the state of Michigan.
Members, we have a colleague addressing the body. Please quiet down and give her your attention. Speaker recognizes Representative Whitworth.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today to offer a resolution that holds profound significance for the state of Michigan, a resolution that acknowledges and celebrates the invaluable contributions of Ducks Unlimited and recognizes the week of January 28th, 2024 as Wetland Conservation Week in Michigan. Wetlands are critical to the health of our ecosystems here in the Great Lakes State. As stewards of this magnificent land, it's our duty to raise awareness of and champion wetland protection, just as much as other critical environmental protection efforts. The resolution I present today is not merely a symbolic gesture, it's a call to action rooted in the deep impact Ducks Unlimited has had on Michigan's wetlands. Founded in 1937 during a period of unprecedented waterfowl population decline, Ducks Unlimited has grown into the largest private organization for waterfowl and wetland conservation worldwide and is the leader in restoration and management of wetlands and their wildlife inhabitants. Through its science-driven approach, it has improved over 16 million acres of habitat across North America. And there's no question about it, Michigan directly benefits from Ducks Unlimited's impactful projects. With nearly 30,000 passionate members and communities all across our state, that work has helped to conserve and protect over 90,000 acres of waterfowl habitat in Michigan alone. Ducks Unlimited has invested over $55 million on nearly 500 individual projects throughout our state, all benefiting wildlife, enhancing recreational opportunity, and supporting Michigan's robust outdoor economy. I think it's only appropriate that we formally declare our appreciation and continue to grow this key relationship for our state. This resolution recognizes Ducks Unlimited and its achievements in habitat conservation, underscores our support for their pivotal role in safeguarding Michigan's wetlands. I'm privileged to collaborate closely with this dedicated organization and look forward to continuing to support this their critical work in our state. By recognizing this week of January 28th, 2024 as Wetland Conservation Week in Michigan, we are not only acknowledging the remarkable achievements of Ducks Unlimited, but we are also affirming our commitment to the well-being of our beloved state. This resolution highlights the importance of wetlands to our communities, wildlife, economy, and overall quality of life in this state, and how looking after them will continue to directly benefit us all. I welcome my colleagues to support this resolution to recognize Wetland Conservation Week and honor the legacy of Ducks Unlimited and commit to keeping a healthy and vibrant Michigan. This resolution is available for co-sponsorship on the electronic calendar.
The question before the House is the adoption of House Resolution 172. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Speaker recognizes Representative Whitwer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to welcome in the East Gallery David Bowers. He's the Regional Vice President of Ducks Unlimited and the Michigan DU State Policy Chair, but more importantly, he's a great member of my district, 76.
Colleagues, please join me in welcoming the guest of Representative Whitwer. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Continue order motions and resolutions, and we'll take up House Resolution 171.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
House Resolution 171, offered by Representative Hall, a resolution to amend the standing rules of the House of Representatives.
The resolution is referred to the Committee on Government Operations. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Speaker, I move that committees get leave to meet during the balance of today's session.
Without objection, so ordered. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just let the members know there will be no further voting, and the House adjourns and stands adjourned until Thursday, January 18th at 12 o'clock noon.
Without objection, so ordered. The House will stand at ease at the call of the chair.